Here we are live, and I'm going to make us both on the screen at the same time. There, I did it. What do you know? A boomer can do something. Hey, Facebook. Hi. I know a lot of you come on after the show, and that's okay. Some of you even have your clothes on. Kudos. Welcome to Comic Spot. Today, you don't have a comedian on. You don't, but you have a lady who's very funny and authentic, and I'm a huge fan of hers. So we're having her on because of who she is and what she does for people in the world. That's right. This is her day. You remember that old show we used to have called Queen for a Day? Well, I hope in a very small way, today is Rabbi Jill's Queen for a Day. That's my goal. So Rabbi Jill is such a special human being. You know, I have to go into a personal little testimony. I know it's not about me, but I was raised kind of like in a mashugana kind of way. Can I be real? You know, I was raised that we just are Jewish. We didn't have to do anything to be Jewish. That's the attitude my father had. So I was not raised with the tradition. And it's always been a big empty hole in my heart. And I had a long discussion with Rabbi Jill at her house one time in New York City when I was there. She made me feel whole. And if you can do that, you're my friend for life. Because that was the biggest hole in my life, and Rabbi Jill filled it, because that's how wonderful Rabbi Jill is, not me. Yes, it's so true. And I'm so glad that dear Helene Witt put the two of us together so I could get to know you, what a dear person you are. Above being a dear person, she's very accomplished. I put her entire bio off of the actorstemple.org onto my Facebook page. I'm going to read the abbreviated one because I don't think you want me trying to pronounce words at this stage of the game for that long. So just read her entire bio. It's very impressive. Here's the abbreviated bio for all of you at home. Jill Hausman, aka Rabbi Jill, in the other square there, is the rabbi and cantor of the historic Actors Temple, Congregation Ezra Israel in Manhattan, and the assistant dean of the Rabbinical Seminary International, the RSI. She previously served as cantor, assistant rabbi in Borough Park, Brooklyn, and has been an aquatic biologist. Did you hear that? An aquatic biologist. I don't even know if Google will let me Google that. She's been a singer. She still is because she's a cantor, and an actor. Her commentaries on the weekly Torah portion have been published by the Jewish Week in New York City, and her poems can be found at ritualwell.org. I'm going to ritualwell.org today to find out all about that. This lady, Rabbi Jill, to those who know her and love her and go into the Actors Temple, love her, adore her, are led by her, are kept centered by her, are kept at peace by her, are made a group by her. I can't tell you enough good about Rabbi Jill from a personal aspect and from having observed it kind of as an outsider, not being trained in the traditions, and watching her with her flock. I've met in 70 years, do you know how many people on the pulpit I've run across? Most of them I've run away from. Can we be real? Not Rabbi Jill. She makes you want to run towards her. And whenever I have she's like a real authentic rabbi, you guys. You want to go to her for advice, and that's what she does. And she even says, if anybody on her long bio, if anybody ever has anything to run it by her, she's very open, loving. There's nothing stopping her loving for humanity, people, and This is her moment. Let's get to know her, you guys. Let's welcome to the stage. Usually I do this like a cheerleader. It doesn't warrant that. She just is. Welcome to the stage. The only time I'm not going to hype it up with cheerleading stuff. Welcome to the stage, the Rabbi Jill.
Oh, Linda, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. After hearing this, I'm, kind of looking around like, who's she talking about? So thank you. Thank you. That's probably the best introduction anyone has ever given me. You really touched my heart. So
wonderful. Every time I watch you, every time I hear you, you just bring me back to peace. You have a way of centering somebody. I don't even have to be in the same room with you. I can just read something you've written and you center me, help me find peace in the turmoil. Look at this world. How many people need peace and solace right now. And you offer that. You offered it before the pandemic.
Well, maybe I just help people find what's within them anyway. It's kind of like adding salt to the dinner. When you add the little salt as the catalyst, you can locate the taste better. So you're just really locating what's within yourself anyway.
And you're humble. That is you guys, if you're wondering what humility is, you don't find it on Google. You find it by bumping elbows with humble people. Rabbi Jill, humble.
On a good day.
We all have moments, right?
Right, we do.
Where the old ego gets in there and you have to fight it back into place. I'd love to know why this is my number. I'm so honored that I even get time to talk with you. I gotta say, like looking at you is like, of all the rabbis, all the priests, all the pastors, all the gurus I've talked to in 70 years, you're the one that I trust with my heart. Do you understand? Where did you get, what have you been through in your life that made you care about? People don't get to your level without, I would guess, rejection, pain, suffering, extreme. You are not just normal. You are abnormally above. And when they wrote the phrase above and beyond, they were talking about Rabbi Jill. How did you get there to this?
I guess I was led. Sometimes we learn from people because they're so wonderful, and sometimes we learn from people because they give us negative examples. And I think it's really important to learn from both types of people. And I did have negative examples that I learned from. And I have had beautiful, positive teachers, most notably my teacher of blessed memory, Rabbi Joseph Gelberman, who lived right across the street from me. I can see his building right now. I'm looking out the window. And he was a holy person. He was also very funny and very down to earth. He changed my life. And you know how it says in the Bible, love your neighbor as yourself. So he used to joke, I love you, talking about me, because it makes it so easy for me to obey the commandment, love your neighbor.
Wow.
He was so cute. He was really cute. He's, always said it with a twinkle in his eye. And he changed my life. He absolutely changed my life. And I wasn't young when I met him. And he wasn't young. He was in his 90s already. I think I was in my 50s when I met him. So I just think I love to learn and I love to grow. So whether I find someone on the internet who makes sense to me, or whether I read spiritual books, or whether I'm lucky enough to find a teacher who's just fabulous, I love to keep learning and growing. And I think that's what it's about, you know, using the negative things that happen in your life to help you to be a more compassionate people for others.
Yes, yes. Can you tell me in a confidential, without saying names of people, some people who have touched you when you've been touching them? Like you're in the middle of helping somebody with an issue, but you get back so much more when you give. I would love to hear a couple of stories out of your rabbinical life where someone comes to you for help and you come away a better, higher person somehow. Is that like too much to ask?
Well, I counsel people who call me to do funerals for them. And there have been times when someone has lost a child, right? Nothing's harder than losing a child. So having the privilege of helping them through that is such a marvelous thing. Also, I do weddings for people, interfaith weddings, Jewish weddings. And oh, here's a good story. I was, kind of going through my files here. I was scheduled to do a Jewish Muslim wedding. And the parents of this young couple were giving them a lot of grief. The father of the bride was adamant that he didn't like this match and he wasn't going to come to the wedding, and he was angry at her. And the father of the groom wasn't too thrilled either. He was easier, but the father of the bride was very, very fundamentalist. And you might think, well, that was the Muslim parent, but not necessarily. So one of my, and this is great because I can share this process with all of you. One of my grooms years and years and years ago was a middle-aged man, and he was in love with this woman who was Jewish, whose parents were both Holocaust survivors, and he was a Christian. And they would not hear of this match in any way. And he taught me this process. He said, I pray for them in the shower. I keep my love flowing. I send my love to them, even though they won't accept me, even though they won't come to the wedding. And I invite God in as a third party or a fourth party to the relationship. And I say, God, I can't heal this by myself. Please heal this for me. I'm going to keep sending my love to them. And this works magic. This is a magic process. I've used it in my own life. So back to the Jewish Muslim wedding. I said to this couple, pray for your fathers in the shower. Invite God in. When they're not standing with you in the room, invite God in, send your love to them, keep your love flowing, and miracles happen. Well, the bride of the father ended up coming to the wedding and walking his daughter down the aisle. It was magical. It was absolutely magical. And the other father was also really, really happy about the wedding. And both fathers sat there with big smiles on their faces. So, and that was so satisfying for me. Uh,
That is working a miracle.
It was so special.
So you have a lot of functions. I don't assume that you just walk in and go and hold a service and go home and go, okay, that's it for the week.
No, I tell my couples and I tell families, people for whom I've done funerals in their families, I say, I'm here for you from now until forever. You can contact me anytime. You can contact me in 5 years, 10 years. You can call me, ask me a question. And I love questions. So if anybody in the audience wants to ask me a question, you certainly can.
What would be the best way for someone you don't know to send you a question?
They can go to the temple website and send to info@theactorstemple.org, and our office manager and executive director will send the email to me, and then we'll be in touch by email.
Fabulous.
Or if you want to put my email up on Facebook, I'm happy to have it.
Perfect. I'll put that up as well.
Yeah, you can. You can. I'm always happy to hear from anyone.
Why do you care about people?
Oh, I've learned how to be a more and more loving person.
Instead of getting bitter, you've gotten better?
I think so. I hope so. You know, I think all of us can look at the people we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and say to ourselves, oh, I'm glad I'm not like that anymore. Well, at least I feel that way. Like, oh, thank God I'm not that person I was 20 years ago. Right? So we're being brought forth. We're being helped to identify more and more with our higher good, with our higher parts. And I think if a person is interested in that, the more interested you are and the more steps you take, the more help you get.
That's so beautiful. So you were with the temple in Borough Park. I don't recall the name of it.
Yes.
What was the name of that temple again?
Borough Park Progressive Synagogue.
Okay. And what in your life, what were all the things that you did? Did you grow up in Brooklyn and you always cared about people? Or like, I want to know little Jill. Just take me through your life, who you were till you became a rabbi. I want to get to know Jill.
Well, I had a grandmother, my father's mother, who had a feeling about her religion. And she was the person in my life who gave me unconditional love. And she gave me my feeling for religion. And I know that I would not be doing what I'm doing without her influence, without her love, without her caring, without her example. And she wasn't super, super observant. I didn't come from a very observant family. I grew up in New Jersey. And then when I was 13, we moved to suburban Maryland outside DC. So I wasn't from a real religious family in any way. And I came to religion through music, through singing.
You did? I want to hear that.
Yeah, there's music in my heart. There's music in my soul. And I always wanted to sing. So when I was in high school, I used to go to the big Reform congregation where they had a big professional choir, and the music director and organist and composer, who was the head of music at that synagogue, let me sing with the paid professionals, just as a high school kid. So I learned the service, and the music nourished me. So I really came to this through music.
And so at some point when you're singing, it got you in touch with your religion, with your feelings of God. And at some point you decided to become a rabbi. Can you walk us through that part of your life?
Well, I wanted to be a performer. I really wanted to be an opera singer. However, I wasn't meeting with a lot of success as an actor or an opera singer. And I needed to make a little money. So I have a friend who has a friend who went to cantorial school at Hebrew Union College. And I said to my friend, Michael, I know you do some cantorial soloist work. Michael has been a singer too. I said, I need to earn some money. I'd love to get into this kind of work. He said, okay, I'll give you Howard's music, photocopy it, learn it, and get yourself a job. So I said, great. So I did. And it just so happened that Hebrew Union College in New York City, there's a branch of it, gave out all their lucrative jobs to their students. And they had no one to be a cantor for the holy days for their community service. So I went in there and auditioned. And they said, have you done this before? Oh, yes, I've done it before. Definitely, I've done it before. Never had done it before. So here I was leading the service with a rabbi who taught cantors, who taught rabbis, knowing nothing or next to nothing. So I did that for about 10 years. And then I wanted to get another job, just being a cantor on the holy days. And I sent out some resumes, and I heard from a little synagogue in Borough Park that said, we need somebody for the holy days, and we also need someone for the whole year. So I thought, great, I'm up for this. So I was there for 10 years, and I started doing weddings, and I had no degree except for a college degree. So I thought to myself, gee, I'm getting older. I really would like to do a few more weddings. I should get some kind of degree. So I thought, am I going to get a cantorial degree? Am I going to get a rabbinic degree? I started doing more rabbinic work at the synagogue, giving sermons and all kinds of things. So I thought, well, who knows how long the voice will hold out? I better study to be a rabbi. So I did meet Rabbi Gelberman through a very kind of strange situation, and realized he lived right across the street. And because it's New York, you only walk down your own side of the street. Unless there's a store on the other side of the street that you want to go to, you never walk down the other side of the street. So I never met him. He was living across the street for, decades, and so was I. So I met him, and eventually started to study with him. And I felt like I wanted to be a singer, and I really became a cantor. And then God said, here, just, move over, do this kind of work. I really felt I was led, and I love it. I love my work because I get to read and study and write and help people and do weddings and teach. I teach conversion. I teach bar and bat mitzvah. I teach adults. I teach kids. So I love it all. It's I wear lots of hats, and it's lots of fun.
So before we get into the Actors Temple and the Actors Temple Theater, I wanted to ask you a even deeper personal question about you being a rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about other Jewish families, but my Meshuggah family, sweet, I'm so sweet. My family was led by a male chauvinist. And here you are in a position of high authority among men, working with men, learning from men, giving wisdom to men who lead families of women. And I don't imagine you plowed through that without zero resistance.
I found yes, there have been resistant people. Actually, at Borough Park Progressive Synagogue, the rabbi was quite elderly, and he didn't take too kindly to having a woman cantor. And at first, it was a little difficult to officiate with him. But eventually, we really formed a very harmonious relationship. And he used to joke with me because he knew how little I knew. He said, remember, Hebrew is read from the right to the left. So I used to joke back with him. I used to say, remember, I'm ignorant, but I'm not stupid.
You know, the reason I brought that up is because of who you are. Because I can play it out in my head, and I know from who you are today, you overcame it with love. The resistance, any resistance that you had being a female in your positions, you just stayed the course and overcame anything by continuing to love them. I can only see you handling it that way, and look where it worked. It's like a living testimony. You're a living testimony to what you preach.
Well, I think, this is hard to characterize as a total package. I've run into resistance, but not that much. I was very lucky in my family that my father was my biggest cheerleader.
Wonderful.
So whatever I wanted to do, he was very supportive. I grew up in a family of 2 girls. I'm the elder. I have a younger sister. And there were no sons. Maybe if there had been sons, things would have been different. I've kind of always done my own thing. So one of my parents had a certain expectation for me, but I didn't find my heart there. And I wanted to try being a singer because I didn't want to die with all my music inside me. And my family would have loved to have had me go to some kind of recognized graduate school. But I kind of found my own way and didn't pay much attention to what anyone thought.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it served me.
I have to tell you, I consider myself an outsider to the Jewish faith, coming into, transition from Rabbi Jill to the Actors Temple now. And having been ashamed that I don't know anything about Judaism, and not even knowing where I fit, and how did this group of Jewish people feel about me, and that group of Jewish people, and always feeling like I didn't belong in a church or in a synagogue. I didn't feel welcome anywhere. Then I walk into the Actors Temple, and I see this harmonious group of people there with one cause. And the one cause is being led by, and when I say led, I don't mean dominated by or mandated by. I mean, you're a living, breathing example of what you would like to see happen in your congregation, and it happens because you live it and breathe it. I walked into the Actors Temple and felt home for the first time, maybe 3-4 years ago. I mean, I always wanted to go to Israel and I never did. When I walked into your temple, I felt like I'd been to Israel.
Oh, great.
That's huge for somebody who's not even really Jewish. You made me feel at home with what you've developed at the Actors Temple that just waffles out into the lobby when you walk in for the first time. You don't even have to talk to anybody, and you feel what you feel at the Actors Temple that you've created. So the Actors Temple is the temple that has a rich history with actors having gone there from way back in the 20s, I would say, the first of it. And so they've existed before Rabbi Jill, but you've put a special spin on that place with your love. So people can go look up Actors Temple. They're not experiencing Rabbi Jill Actors Temple. And no, you're humble and you don't necessarily want to say that. And that's why I've got to make you queen for the day. You can Google all you want about Actors Temple. And then you've got to get to know Rabbi Jill, and you've got to go to New York, walk in when they have it open to the public, and experience the experience of feeling like you're in your homeland. If you're not Jewish, you're still gonna feel like you're there to worship the one true God.
Well,
your higher power. You don't exclude anybody.
I've been doing Zoom services, so wherever you are, you don't have to be in New York City. You don't have to come. You can join me on Zoom. I do services at 7 o'clock on Fridays and 10:30 on Saturday mornings. Our Friday services are larger, the 7 o'clock Eastern time. So you don't even have to travel. You can Zoom. You can Zoom right in.
So the Actors Temple, what would you, Rabbi Jill, like to say about the Actors Temple and the Actors Theater?
When I came there 15 years ago, it had really gone downhill quite a bit. Initially, I was looking to do a bar bat mitzvah in their space, kind of as a rental. And I decided to come to a service when I found out that there was no rabbi. Their rabbi had tragically died. And I never met him, Rabbi Joshua Simon. So I came in the fall of 2005, and there were only a handful of people at the services, maybe 8 people, 8 people on a Friday night and 4 to 6 on a Saturday morning. And I applied for the job of the rabbi, and I sat in the vice president's car while he circled the block because there were no parking spaces, and told him that nobody would do for the synagogue what I would do for it. And I just tried to be a kind, welcoming presence. And I think that's what religion is supposed to be, because any spiritual leader is only a conduit. You know, we're only a connection between a person and the divine, a person and their own divine soul. So, you know, if you're accepting, if you're smiling, you know, if you are not judgmental and, you know, you open your doors, And there's continuity. People know you're going to be there next week and next month and next year. The congregation, God builds up the congregation. And people have asked me, well, where did the people come from? And I say, I don't know, God brought them in. However they come, you know. One person was just walking by, and another person came for a show. It's difficult to say how people come, but they find their way. And we're kind of a very eclectic group. There are people from all walks of life. There are creative people. There are people from Fountain House who have some mental challenges. Fountain House is 1 block away from us. It reintegrates people with mental challenges back into society. And we have very valued and important members of the Actors Temple who are also members of Fountain House. So the distinction that I like to draw about the Actors Temple is every house of worship says we're accepting. The Actors Temple is a little different because, as you said, Linda, when you come, not only are you accepted, but you feel accepted. And that's a huge distinction. That's a big difference. People can say, oh, we accept you, we're happy to have you. But if you come and you feel accepted, that's something a little different.
Yes. My entire life, I felt like a reject of Judaism. I did, until I walked in your doors. That's huge, huge. It's a big difference. Having your doors open and saying you accept everybody. And then when you have a conversation, they're like, yeah. But you make people feel, you made me, I can only speak for myself and what I felt. And the atmosphere that you create is an atmosphere of love and acceptance. And that's what touched me when I walked in.
Thank you so much. One of our comedians helped me to make a flyer. And he said, you should put on the flyer, where do the lost tribes pray? So I did. We have a flyer, where do the lost tribes pray?
Leave it to a comedian. That's a great line.
That's Bob Greenberg.
I love Bob.
Yeah, he's great.
You know, some of the best lines, make the best ads, and they're funny. And I get a real kick out of all the work that there is out there for comedians to come up with lines.
Yeah, well, religion is really a ripe place for comedy.
Yes, yes. So in your years of being a cantor and being a rabbi, you told me the most touching, heartwarming story about the Muslim and the Jewish wedding. What's been the funniest experience you've ever? Are there ghosts inside of the Actors Temple? Do any of those who've gone before us in the comedy field come out and play at the Actors Temple?
Well, it's interesting that you would ask that question. When you walk into the Actors Temple, you can kind of feel the happy energy of all those actors and comedians. It's palpable. You walk in, you think, happy people have been here. And I had a rabbinic intern, just a volunteer for a number of years, who also graduated from Rabbinical Seminary International. And he is a very sensitive, spiritual person who has inner sight, inner hearing, really, really well developed. He reads tarot cards, and this is a talent that he always had. And he said, I think the synagogue's haunted.
You did.
And we did some processes. Another person who came to me, a non-Jewish person through somebody else who was Jewish, she came to me and she does feng shui. And she wanted to feng shui the synagogue for her website. So I said, sure, go ahead. Fine with me. So between the feng shui and between him doing some processes, he said, in the past, maybe around the turn of the century, down the block on 47th Street near 8th Avenue, Madame Blavatsky used to have her headquarters in the building. And she was a famous spiritualist of the late 19th and early 20th century. So there was a lot of spiritualism going on that block. So anyway, these processes were done, and this rabbinic assistant said they're gone. They were here, but they're gone. And he used to see them, he used to feel them or see them in the kitchen, or he used to tell me where he saw them, where they were. I never experienced that, but he could. And who knows whether they were left over from people in the synagogue or from Madame Blavatsky down the block. You can look her up. She was part of the Theosophy movement.
Got it.
So that's kind of weird, right?
Yes, that is. You have a section where you walk into the temple on the street, go up a few steps into the place where you hold your services. Mm-hmm. And somewhere in there are all these plaques of all these famous people, actors.
Right. Jack Benny has a plaque, Sophie Tucker, Smith and Dale were a famous comedy team. Even Joe Franklin, who passed away recently, has a plaque there. The Barry sisters, Myrna Barry has a plaque. The head of Paramount Pictures in the past, Barney Balaban, has a plaque. There was a famous fighter, Barney Ross, of the past. We have historic photographs, headshots from people like Henny Youngman, Al Jolson, Shelley Winters, Milton Berle, Eddie Cantor. It was really in the 30s and 40s, it was the place for Jewish actors to come. And two of the Three Stooges we know came and worshiped. Edward G. Robinson came there.
Do their families come in there to pay respects by coming into where they worshiped ever?
Well, not really, because what happened is that in the 50s, all of these people moved out to California to be in the film industry. So all their families grew up in California. However, I've been sought out as an officiant for Edward G. Robinson's grandnephew's wedding, Claire Barry's granddaughter's wedding and great-granddaughter's baby naming.
Alan chills. You're giving me chills.
Yeah, Alan King's grandson's wedding.
No way.
So it's it's kind of fun. It's fun that way.
Oh, that's beautiful. So full circle.
Yeah. But people are more religious, but they're more spiritual on the inside. They're not as observant on the outside. So we don't always keep in close contact because people are doing their own spiritual growth in other ways. So I totally respect that. You know, whoever you are, if I can be of help or of service, fine, come to me. And if you have a different path, I'm happy with whatever path you have.
The non-judgmental approach. Like, you see how Rabbi Jill takes the ego out of it? That's so beautiful. So beautiful. Like, you're just a servant of God.
Yeah, well, you have to be there for people where they are. You know, you can't say, well, you have to be like this for me to be in contact with you. That doesn't work at all. You know, God doesn't judge us. Who am I to judge? Right? God doesn't keep people out of religion. Who am I to keep people out of religion?
Yes, yes. Let's talk a little bit about how people can help the Actors Temple and what's going on in any order that you want to say this, and what's going on with the Actors Theater, which is of great interest to people.
Well, the Actors Temple Theater has its own separate management. They pay us rent. So anyone who goes to a show, an off-Broadway show at the Actors Temple, is helping us. We have a website with some of our history on the website. Anyone who wants to donate can donate. Anyone who wants to join me for an event. We have a Hanukkah, a Shabbat Hanukkah sing-along and open mic service in December. And Linda, sometimes you are one of the comedians for our open mic. That's really a lot of fun. Our weekly email announcements are on our website. I think you have to go to events and then go to announcements. And if you want to join us for any holiday or Shabbat service, or just hear the jokes on Shabbat Hanukkah, you're welcome to join us anytime you like, or to contact me.
See how beautifully open she is? She's not judgmental. She really means what she's saying. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Oh my gosh. Rabbi Jill, the world has gone through, can I say hell in a handbasket to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's been rough, to say the very least. In our lifetimes, the worst we've ever seen. So how do you stay positive? How do you encourage your flock to stay? What do you want to say to people on here if they're struggling to pay their rent? I had a comedian tell me that her best friend hung herself yesterday. What do we say to help people hang in there? Hang in there is the wrong phrase. What do you say to people to make them want to keep marching?
It's very, very difficult to turn your life around from a place of desperation and sadness. Very difficult. If you're in a very, very difficult place, finding things to think about and appreciate, just little things, will help a person to start thinking more positively. We create so much of our own reality. And I have taught myself how to be happier and happier and happier. Now, I want to tell everybody here that I also have a husband who's severely disabled. He's mentally disabled, he's physically disabled, and I'm his caregiver. And he's been that way for 13 years. So if a person says, well, look at that person, their life is good, they can be happy. The skill is to teach yourself how to be happy regardless and independent of the circumstances in your life. So it sounds completely counterintuitive. It sounds like, well, if things get better, I'll be happy. But the reverse is actually true. We have to attach ourselves to any positive thing to be able to expand that little bit of positivity into the rest of our lives. So, you know, this cereal tastes good. I opened my eyes this morning. The sun came up. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go look at a tree and see the leaves blow in the wind. Excuse me. Isn't that puppy cute? My left knee doesn't hurt. Anything that makes a little bit of happiness. Oh, I remember when I went on that vacation and it was so beautiful and I ate this great food. To just be able to focus on the good in your life, focus on the good in yourself, focus on the love in your heart, help somebody, go volunteer where you can open your heart to someone in need. So by taking a tiny, tiny bit of goodness and expanding it and learning how to train yourself to be happy, changes your life. It's magical. It will change your life.
That's so beautiful. Very well said. In closing, I'd like to give you anything you want to say to people. Give you the floor for as many minutes as you'd like to cover anything that I haven't brought out. What would you like to say in general to anybody watching that I haven't asked you?
We live in the most amazing time that anyone has ever lived in. We have resources to connect to each other, to learn things, and to be able to create things that we're just beginning to understand. The world, I've learned recently, the world is so much more magical and magnificent than any of us have ever understood. And the knowledge of how to live and create in that world is right at our fingertips. You know, it's right on YouTube. There are many spiritual teachers with whom you can learn amazing things that are within yourself, within your own capabilities. So I would encourage you not to be limited by the perspectives that we now hold, because the perspectives are just opening up in life. There, morning voice. There is, our horizons are unlimited. They're only limited by our own thoughts and feelings. And when our thoughts and our feelings are together in a positive way, we can achieve miracles. I'm learning about this, and I'm helping other people in any small way I can to realize their own capabilities, their own radiance, their own magnificence, their own love. And that's what makes us feel good. when we can express that love, when we can express that radiance, we feel fantastic. And I would just say, don't wait for something to happen to begin to contact that within yourself, because it's there. You know, take the step. When I first got to the Actors Temple, I gave this sermon for Rosh Hashanah, for the first holy day. I said, the audience filtered into the theater. They had bought tickets. They were waiting for the show to begin. They were all expectant. And the time came for the curtain to rise. Nothing happened. People started to look around. Is there a problem? What's going on? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. And the audience finally realized that they were waiting for God, but actually, God isn't the actor, they're the actors. God is waiting for them, right? So we're the actors, we're the movers. Don't wait for it to happen. Mm. No, it's there, you've got it.
Mm. The most powerful person I know, in the most loving way I know. Thank you so much, Rabbi Jill. I'm going to go on to Actors Temple and donate.
Oh, thank you.
Right now.
Thank you. Well, you know, join me for whatever. Join me for whatever you want.
I will. I will be there on a Friday night at 7 Eastern. Great. On Zoom.
Great. Thank you, Linda, so much for this lovely opportunity.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you blessed my heart so many times. Thank you, Rabbi Jill of Actors Temple, New York City.
My great pleasure.
Love you.
Love you.